Hello,
What are we
everyone,
week
and welcome to
13?
week 13 of the Fantasy Football Formula. This is our DFS slate breakdown, where we go position by position, giving you our 5 favorite plays, kind of in each price tier, at each position, and then we build a million maker lineup in hopes that one day we can all win that. But
One day.
maybe we'll be like 60 years old when we finally win it.
Yeah, with that attitude, come on. We're actually
It's
a
tough.
couple of sharks up here.
Well, maybe we'll do it this week, but as
This week.
always, we'll start out at the quarterback position. I kind of was looking through the slate a bit, and there are a lot of games on this slate, and it's like there's a bunch of low total games, but then there's a bunch of low total games with quarterbacks that are in some decent positions, and then there's a bunch of these high total games. And so it makes for an interesting slate. Like, this is the hardest slate for me that I've looked at this whole year. It's very tough in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think
I don't
there's
know. I kind of like it. It's
There's
If
one of
you
my
like it,
favorites.
that's good. I just think there's so many plays. Like, I was looking to
there's a lot of ways to
many.
go.
yeah.
There's
I'm with
so
you on
many
that.
plays, which makes it hard. So, starting at quarterback, this is usually where it's easiest for me to narrow down a pool. I got 6 guys, but we'll start at the high end. What are your guys' favorites here?
I mean, the 3 games that I'm probably targeting are, again, if this is more of a cash lineup strategy, but Miami, San Fran, Kansas City.
I think that's going to be really unique. That not many current people will be targeting that.
And then Kansas City, Cincinnati, and I think Chargers, Raiders are
Yeah, I
those
like that
last
one.
2. Like, all 3 of those have the potential to really shoot out, in my opinion. PB, you think the last 2 are going to be way more popular than Dolphins,
Yes.
Niners, just because
Unless I think it's more because of the defenses, mainly the 49ers, and the other games like Mahomes and Burrow. That one's like guaranteed to be popular, and then I do think just that Chargers Raiders game has a really high total.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I'm not playing the Miami San Fran game, so maybe that one.
That
Do you like that, Corey?
I mean, I took it as the over in our pick show.
Yeah.
But that's a game that could see not go over too. Like, it could go either, like it can either hit the over very easily, or like the typical 49ers game where it's 20-13. And like, you're playing all these high owned or high expensive players, and they just completely destroy your lineup. Like, that game, like, yes, it's going to be unique because, again, not a lot of people want to pay up for Tyreek for his price. And, I mean, Tua is decently priced at 6,700. And again, especially with DFS players, people who maybe not play all the time. I know, we tell you not to look at it, but you see next to Tua, like, the opponent rank is 5th against quarterbacks. People are gonna like, ew, like, I don't want to play that. I'd rather play Joe Burrow for $200 more against, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
So it's definitely unique. And I think I'm going to have some of Tua, just for the sure fact that they have the 2 best wide receiver duo in the league. Like, if it does shoot out, I feel like it's going to go through Tua and those receivers, obviously.
And there's a ton of run back opportunities too.
Yeah.
On the other side.
CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle.
Yeah.
It's a great. I will say it's a great tournament game to stack because it's just guaranteed to have lower ownership. Now, who knows? I think this could be the game, like, throughout the week when people are like, oh, this is the sneaky game to stack. So I don't think it's going to go like completely overlooked. I do think it's like the sneaky game people go to in tournaments as leverage and people funnel to it, but I still think it'll be much lower on than the other ones. I'm just targeting all 6 of my quarterbacks are just in 3 games on both sides of the ball. It's the Chargers, Raiders, Mahomes, Burrow, and Lawrence and Jared Goff.
I like Trevor Lawrence a lot this week for that price too. I mean, I think you get a pretty middle of the road quarterback for a low end price. So he's definitely my player pool too. I like that call.
Yeah, he's getting up in price. He's been in the low 5Ks this year. This is his highest he's been. He's almost at 6K now. But he has the nut matchup against the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be one of my most played guys.
Yeah.
Second, I think maybe probably my most played is going to be the return of Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
I especially like him in the turf field, like on a dome. I heard that they're not going to. I'm like a little worried about him in future games in the rain. They're not going to let him use a towel in the game because apparently he drops them too much and it's a hazard out on the field. So
Wouldn't they
in
be
this
like
game, he shouldn't
sticking
need
to
one of
his
those.
hands? It'd be like sticking to his hands, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So
He is
Let's
used
put
to
it-
playing in Houston, obviously, right? So like, I mean, it's the
no,
last
but
place he
yeah,
played.
I think it's just going to be really interesting. Like I kind of just want to play the side just because I'm a Browns fan that he comes in and
So is it
gets
just a
back to that
Watson?
elite level early against a bad defense. So, yeah, I'm
Is it
gonna
like a
play that.
what are you? Is there a certain? Are you gonna do like a full game stack or more just stack the Brown side?
Cooper.
I mean, I love Njoku. I've been playing him all year, so I like stacking him and Amari together. I don't really think you go to like DPJ, but it might be an interesting leverage play. Like maybe he, hits some home run balls with him. But I don't know. I'm gonna
yeah.
wait a week or two before I like play that. I want to see who his favorite targets are.
Okay. I'll be fading Watson, but I mean, yeah, I think people will want to play him, but I don't think he's going to be super owned by any means.
I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna play a couple of them just for the sure fact that he could go off for like 40 points in Houston, and be like
like
giving
the
everyone the
biggest
middle finger.
revenge game of all revenge games.
Yeah.
Almost. Like
Yeah.
the stakes.
I will
could be higher.
say, looking at the slate, it's going to be like, even though I like Mahomes, like if you build a Mahomes lineup, you realize how fast you have no money left.
Oh yeah.
It's very, so like I actually, even though he'll be in my player pool, I like the cheaper, like I like Burrow more than Mahomes, even though I think the Chiefs win the game.
Yeah.
And then I like the Lawrence and that under 6K tier more. Just
And
because
we've talked about that with Mahomes in the past too, like in a big shootout game where if like you get Kelsey or you get the right receiver that goes just completely off, you almost get the exposure to Mahomes without having to pay that price tag.
right. And typically it's Kelsey, but Juju's finally back, I think, this week. So he's much cheaper. You could get it through him.
Yeah.
He played last week. It
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah, limited though.
I think before we
He's
move on to
alright.
running back, again, so this is really interesting because last week was there was 2 games that really determined like the slate, and I think this week you could literally play just the 4:00 games, which is
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seattle Rams. Probably not going to do anything with that.
Oh.
Then you have Miami, San Fran, which we talked about. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Chargers, Vegas. I mean, there's gonna be so many people, and like it's not fun to do this, but like leverage off of that and play 1:00 games. I understand it's like there's so many games to choose from, but like if you can find that needle in a haystack in that 1:00 game that shoots out, and like you're pretty much set.
It's not a needle, it's Detroit, Jacksonville.
I think
I
it's
think that's got the best
popular.
chance to just
Yeah.
Given, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like pieces from that game. I don't know that I like playing more than a piece or two though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite game personally. But all right, you want ready to go to running back?
Let's do it.
All right. Oh, this is crazy. Like I was going through it. I'm gonna have to narrow it. Usually my player pool is like 10 guys or less, and I swear it's the longest it's been all year.
Running
Like,
backs are tough this week.
it is so difficult.
Yeah.
Really? I think there's
Yeah.
like one obvious play up top, and it's Nick
No.
Chubb.
There's so many good plays up top.
Nick Chubb.
For like $8,000, you get the easiest. Like I think Houston right now is averaging 31 points to opposing running backs or backfields in
But
general.
you like Watson, so how are they both?
Yeah.
Gonna hit?
I mean, I probably wouldn't play them together just
Okay.
because I don't think they both hit their ceiling. But the lineups that I'm not playing
Okay.
Watson like in my Trevor Lawrence lineups. I'm playing all Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I love
So,
Chubb. He's in one of my 5
Yeah.
that I have listed here. I like him a lot.
I'm just a little worried about McCaffrey up top. Like he's been dealing with that knee injury lingering.
Yeah.
So Eli Mitchell's done for the year. So I don't know. Maybe you could get really crafty and play that backup San Fran running back, Terrian Prince something. He's got 3 names.
Davis Prince. Something.
David Prince.
I don't know.
David
Tayshaun
Davis
Prince.
Price. Tyrion Davis Price.
There it is.
Okay, so he's good. I
Yeah, he
read
is. I don't know what
yesterday.
you're talking about.
I saw yesterday that he was questionable or out.
Yeah, I
he-
mean McCaffrey was a full go in practice, though. I think he's gonna be like the main guy.
I do really like, again, at the top here, Eckler and Jacobs. I mean, I think you need to get a piece of that game. And if you don't think you can make a full stack out of it, I do like both of those guys more than any of the receivers in that game, particularly. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, if he plays, obviously, but I don't love any of the Vegas guys all that much, receiver wise. So I do think that game is high scoring. And if you're able to pay up at running back, I think both of those guys have a good chance to go off.
Yeah, the fact that Eckler got 15 targets last week is absolutely insane. He had like 4 rushes or whatever. What it was? What was it? Five rushes.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that he finished with
25.
25 points. You'd be like, no way. But 15 targets. He kind of, I mean, with that being with his price, I mean, he didn't pay off his price. Even with catching 11 passes, like he needs it. He needs to at least get, I think, if he's getting 15 targets and catching 11 of those, like you expect him to blow up, and he didn't quite get there last week. But I love Eckler and I love Justin Herbert again this week. But yeah, I think it's pretty easily. It's Chubb. It's, what do you guys think about Henry? I mean,
He's in such a great spot too.
but
I will say the reason why I like so Chubb and Henry are basically the same price. You have to give the edge to Chubb because Henry hits his ceiling when they're winning games, which obviously the Eagles are definitely favored to win. Whereas with the Browns, Chubb hits his ceiling when they're winning games, and they're definitely favored against the Texans and in that crazy matchup. So you have to give the edge to Chubb.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And do we think Josh Jacobs continues to do what he's doing? I just,
Dude,
I mean, he's
on an
had good
absolute tear.
The Chargers
yeah.
run D is so bad.
It's so bad.
So bad.
Dude, he's getting like he got 40 touches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he's usually not that good in the passing game. I think he had a couple long ones last week.
He's getting like 6 targets a game.
I know. Man.
And
It's
you
crazy.
also have Dalvin Cook at $7,200.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is the
That's a crazy
hardest
price.
slate.
That
It's
is
the
a great
hardest
price
slate
for Dalvin.
because you pick one of your expensive guys. Like there's so many like Eckler, McCaffrey, Henry, Chubb, Jacobs, Dalvin. Mixon's coming back against Kansas City. Aaron Jones against Chicago. ETN against Detroit. Like, and they're at juicy prices. Montgomery against the Packers are on.
Yeah,
Like
Montgomery is definitely.
I don't even know. I legit am playing all these guys. Like I'm not gonna make a stand as much on running back this week. Like, it's just too many guys. Pierce,
Yeah.
even Pierce, who sucked, now going against Cleveland.
I have a really good
Pacheco.
wide receiver play that might allow you to go a little bit more expensive on 2 running backs.
All right, well, hang on. Before we get to there, we kind of
Yeah.
like bounced around. So let's like solidify like 3 of ones that we're for sure like punching
Chubb.
into like, yeah. So I think Chubb is definitely top of the list.
Yeah.
For me, I would say
One of ETN or Montgomery, maybe.
I love Montgomery this week. I mean, you saw what the Packers the Eagles run game did against the Packers run defense last week. And just demolished them.
And Fields will be back. So
Fields will be playing. Don't love him at his price tag. Obviously, we didn't talk about him a ton. Part of why I think the Eagles run game was so successful is the Packers had to respect all of their receiving threats on the outside. So that's why you saw like Jalen Hurts get that 60-yard, like untouched. Everyone's on the left side of the field. He runs up the right side of the field. Is because they have, and they don't really have to do that with the Bears receiving threats as much. So I think they're going to contain Fields quite a bit more and make that more of an emphasis. But I still love Montgomery this week.
Also with his
Yeah.
hurt shoulder, like they might might throttle him down. Be like, dude, we're
Less-
not winning the Super Bowl this year. Like,
Less
can you please
design
not
runs.
run? Yeah,
Less design runs for sure.
yeah.
No
I mean,
Darnell Mooney. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the cheap running back plays that are good as well.
My favorite there is Damian Pierce. We saw Davis Mills got benched this week. And I've been saying this week over week, you have to target the Browns run defense. Like they are so bad. I have to watch it every week. It's so frustrating. So for $5,900, I think Damian Pierce has a lot of upside and a good matchup. So I think they just let the rookie run. Like they're Kyle Allen, I think, is the starting quarterback there. Like there's no way they're chucking it 30 times a game.
I think they're gonna get game scripted out here. I think
That's
he
what I
is.
was just gonna say is the
I'm
game
not-
script might be pretty bad.
He's gonna be so popular, and I think that he might have like 15 points. But look, last week against Miami, game scripted out. He had 5 attempts for 8 yards. The week before that against Washington, I know it's Washington has pretty good run defense, but 10 attempts, 8 yards. He had 3 and then 6 targets, but like if the game's not close, and the Texans who are still like trying to win football games, he just gets, he doesn't get used anymore. So, and like you said, I think he's going to be one of the most popular running back plays because he is because of how cheap he is and what he can allow you to get up to. Other
No
positions.
running back this week is going to, besides Josh Jacobs, will be crazy owned because there's too many good plays. Pierce will be in the mix, like right around 20%, but probably I would say between 15 and 20%.
Which is still too high for me.
But I think you play Pierce only if you play Watson, because like you're not going to play Chubb and Pierce together. That's so negatively correlated. Yeah. If you play Watson with a pass catcher, and Cleveland's really bad against the run. They're really bad at giving up explosive plays. So if you think Pierce is breaking a long one, that's how the game speeds up. That's when Watson is more likely to hit his ceiling. So I think you play Pierce in Watson stacks like Amari. That's when you play Pierce. That's, I think, the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
What about the cheap? Like I'm talking under 5.5K, because there's like 4 guys that are in play here that are like pretty good plays.
I have like one guy contingent on ETN's health. It's Jermichael Hasty. We saw him put up 20 points last week. Yeah, but we don't know how much. I don't know. It's just something to monitor. Might play him.
Well, Latavius Murray, 5.3. Zonovan Knight is 4.6K.
Dude, I just, man, it's so hard to trust anyone on Denver right now. I understand that he is like the guy there and he's the only one getting touches, but like, I mean, last week he was the guy 13 for 92, and didn't score. I mean, he's not
bell cow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but like, I mean, maybe do you say
Jalen Warren? Oh, Jalen Warren's my favorite. He's 4.9. He's gonna probably be the bell cow against the Falcons.
Yep.
Yeah. If Najee plays, I don't know if I can see him play. I can see him not playing him. There's one more person I was.
Well, Michael Carter's probably not playing either.
It hasn't
Michael Carter
all week either. Yeah.
Do you think?
What about?
Sorry,
go.
Ty not Jones. The other guy on the Jets.
Yeah, Ty Johnson. They used him sparingly, but like they planned on utilizing Knight way more than anyone expected when Carter was actually before the injury in the first half. They were using Knight, and then Knight was just like a 70% play, like snap share guy when Carter went down.
Gotcha.
Man, I thought J.K. Dobbins was going to be activated this week.
Yeah, so Gus is playing like it's ridiculous. Like Pacheco against Cincinnati. Like, I mean, there's just unlimited running back plays this week. I really do think, and this is the first slate. I think you need to play them all. You just spread exposure amongst all these guys.
And just hope you, yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the wide receiver. But so we're saying Chubb, we're saying we like Josh Jacobs, we're saying we like Montgomery, Jalen Warren, maybe Damian Pierce. I'm not a huge fan of him.
I would say, I mean, Montgomery. We said Montgomery and ETN.
Yeah.
I mean, ETN's really good play.
Okay. Because we kind of just like dispersed and
because that's how it is.
Yeah.
There's not really a favorite. That's all.
All right.
All right. Receiver. All right. This is where, definitely some better plays than others. Still hard. I will say it's very hard, even at the receiver end this week. There's so many good matchups, but who do you guys like at the top end?
Well, I think you have to play Jamar Chase because it's probably the last time you'll get him under 8K. So I like it just for that reason.
Mm.
And I think this game could just go nuclear. So I like that a lot.
I prefer T over Chase.
Yeah. I would say
Chase is on the snap count still.
Yeah, I think he will be.
Yeah, they're gonna need him if they make the playoffs. So I would say, man, I love Tyreek Hill, but dude, at 8-8 is just like that's so hard to get to. Especially with the running back plays. But like I said, if he gets to 35 points, which he can, you're gonna have him at very low ownership. And I think he can. It's a spot that San Francisco's been kind of beating the air. And if this game's going back and forth, then I think it's a good spot. Man, it's again, I like T. Higgins again more than Chase. And then, man, I'd say St. Brown going against the Jaguars.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Goff, I think you're 100% playing Amon-Ra in that lineup. But I actually like for $400 cheaper, and I think he's going to go way overlooked just because people aren't going to really be playing Geno this week against the Rams. I think DK Metcalf is at like 5% ownership is such a good play.
Yeah, 15 targets last week. Jeez. And he didn't even hit 100 yards.
I know, which is rare for Metcalf getting 15 targets, not hitting 100 yards, but I love, again, I've been targeting outside receivers against the Rams all year long. I think Metcalf could have a really big game.
Yeah,
that's some leverage. I just don't think people are playing him.
Working down the line too, I think Christian Kirk is in for a big one. That's of the piece of the Jaguars Lions game that I think I'll have the most of.
Yep. Love Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah, Detroit secondary is, they got Okuda, but other than that, nada.
Yeah, I'll fade Zay Jones. I'll probably have a little bit because if I'm playing Lawrence, like he's my favorite quarterback. But people might chase that. I'll just go get his favorite target, which is Kirk.
Yeah.
And even pivot from like Marvin Jones from Zay Jones or something.
How is he still playing in the NFL?
He's got a touchdown against the Ravens.
I know it was a good touchdown he had.
Yeah. And he's always capable of a long one.
I love Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he was my other guy.
Yeah, he's in a good spot, sub 7K. He's definitely not going to go overlooked. But the other thing about it is Joshua Palmer, especially if Mike Williams doesn't play.
Mike Williams is most likely not playing.
Okay, so Josh Palmer there, and then also the other receiving option for the Chargers, Carter. He's been getting a lot of looks as of late as well. But I don't, especially if Eckler's eating up 15 targets, I think maybe just stick with the outside guy and Keenan Allen and just hope and pray that Joshua Palmer doesn't get into the end zone.
Yeah, I love Keenan Allen this week.
They've been putting him in the slot a little bit on the goal line too, since he came back healthy.
Well, hasn't Allen always been the slot guy? Pretty sure he's always been the slot receiver. Mike Williams is the outside guy and Allen in the slot, right?
They move him around.
I think
Oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Mike Williams is definitely the outside guy when he's healthy, but I think
Yeah.
Keenan's played a bit of both.
He has such a good matchup against the Raiders too.
Yeah, he really
I mean,
does.
Herbert could just go absolutely nuclear here.
Yeah. Yeah, and potentially a great game script.
Yeah.
Another guy,
Like a Herbert, Allen, Everett, Jacobs team or something like that.
Yeah. Any interest in Cortland Sutton against
Mhm.
Baltimore?
I like him a bit.
No.
Yeah.
I
None.
he's kind of like, you know what Russell Wilson is? He's the Robbie Anderson of last year. You play him because he's priced at a good price.
I'm not playing
Like,
Russ. I'll tell you that much.
no, I know, but like if Sutton has a good game, you're expecting Russ to get there, to have a good game as well. So man, he had such a good matchup against Baltimore. Baltimore has been absolutely just thrashed on the outside by receivers, and I think that it could be there.
Yeah.
Are we chasing Christian Watson again?
No.
No.
I kind of
No,
want to.
No, I won't play any Packers probably. Like Aaron Jones will be the only guy.
I think
3, 2,
Romeo
1.
Dubes will be back though.
Doobies is back.
I'm just not gonna chase Watson's outrageous efficiency on touchdowns. Like I just won't do that. Like people
Okay.
can chase that all they want.
What about
Is Rodgers going to play for sure?
I think so.
they said if he can, he's
yeah,
gonna play.
he's playing.
The guy who's gonna be the most popular receiver that it's very hard to play at this ownership because he's gonna be like probably over 30% owned is Garrett Wilson
That's yeah.
against Minnesota because he has an incredible matchup against the Vikings.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the league against outside receivers. And it's just like you're relying on Mike White to have another good game, which you very well can against the Vikings, but it's just so hard to play him at 30-something% ownership. My favorite pivot off of Wilson is not Elijah Moore, it's Corey Davis. I think Corey Davis is incredible leverage off of Garrett Wilson.
Man, that's risky.
Yeah.
It's a good leverage play, but that is
because Elijah Moore is in the slot and the Vikings are actually like good against the slot, but they're just horrible on the outside. And it's like, I don't think like 1 out of every 3 slates, Garrett Wilson's going off and Corey Davis is like, Corey Davis was like 1% owned.
yeah.
I love
good
Corey
reasons.
Davis.
Yeah, you could also.
Like, what has he done?
An egg.
Corey Davis?
Yeah, he's not.
He's
not doing anything great.
He at his price tag, he hasn't had. But this is a different quarterback. Like we're not talking about Zach Wilson anymore.
I'm not sure Mike White's like a
ball.
massive upgrade.
But he
He's an upgrade
throws.
over
Like,
there.
He's chucking it. Is my point.
Yeah. MVS. Any interest in MVS at 4,100? Because I don't think Tony's going to play again.
The Bengals are bad against they're like neutral against the tight end and bad against the slot, but they're good against outside receivers.
Well, I think that would favor Juju then, right?
Yeah, I like Juju.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Burks. If we think that game's going to be, he's the number 1 option there. Had a good week last week. He got a touchdown.
The Eagles are so good against receivers.
Yeah, I hate going against the Eagles corners.
Yeah, I guess under that, like under the 4,000 mark, I don't really see
Back to
Watkins. No,
against the Titans,
dude.
Do you know who actually is going to, out of all these expensive guys that just in an incredible matchup, also is just going to go completely overlooked? Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and that Eagles. Like no one's going to be playing the Eagles this week.
Yeah, they are priced up.
True.
It's
who
hard
else
to play
nobody's going to
like,
be playing, and probably some good leverage on the cheap. Wide receiver 1 for under 4K, Chase Claypool. Darnell Mooney's on the IR, could be a sneaky play. It's a rivalry game, so they're going to have to throw to someone. And I think for that price, I think that's like the only player I'm playing under 4K. So
Yeah,
I see a lot of Jair Alexander though, which I don't love.
Yeah, you got.
I'd almost rather pivot to Komet if you want to, like, if you get off of an expensive tight end like Kelsey or anything. Like Komet's gonna see an increase in target share for sure with Mooney going down.
Yeah, that's true. I think I just like the wide receiver 1 label for that price more than anything. Like he'll probably get 7 to 10 targets. I'm hoping so.
He's got the home run ball ability for sure too. So
yeah,
at that price, all it takes is 1. Sorry, Corey.
Yeah, you're not playing St. Brown. You're not playing Dante Pettis. You're not playing Pringle. I mean, if anyone, you're playing Claypool, which I could see him maybe. I don't know. He's so low. I mean, he might get overlooked. It just when people are scrolling down and only have $4,000 left, and they're like, I need to fit it in a flex, and it's the second scroll that they have is Chase Claypool. They're like, oh, Mooney's out, Claypool's there. I can grab him. So I can see him maybe being popular, but just for that sense. But yeah, I think other than that, it's pretty much dust below. I mean, yeah.
I mean, Deontay Johnson's someone that, like, so Garrett Wilson's 5'3", right? So like, there's gonna be a lot of roster construction to end up with like a 5'3" receiver. Like you said, I like Cortland Sutton at 5'5", Tyler Boyd at 5'3", and I think Deontay Johnson. I think the odds are one of those guys outscores Wilson. Like, if you were to give me all 3 of those guys or Garrett Wilson, I would take the 3.
Yeah. And I think people are going to be on Pickens.
Set up well.
I think people are going to be on Pickens more because of what because he was on national TV on Monday night. So, and he's like the flat, and it only looks like Pickett's looking his way. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
There are
Pickett has the worst matchup, I think, against Terrell. So I don't know. Deontay hasn't scored yet this year, and he has like 1 million targets. I think regression might be coming his way.
All right, let's move to the fun position.
Yep, tight end.
Give me the Chief.
We're at 8K though.
No, Chief Njoku.
Oh,
3,800.
The Chief.
Is that you bet Kelsey?
Yeah.
Why would someone not think you mean Kelsey when you said the Chief?
The best tight end in the league. Obviously, one-handed catch. I mean, he was out there looking like Odell Beckham. Last play of the game, pushed it to overtime for the Browns win. Oof. Then you give him Watson.
But he's not practicing, so I don't know if he plays.
All right, hang on. Let's look at this. How many times has Kelsey paid off his price tag this year on the main slate? I don't think
many, like maybe 3.
So against the Chargers, that was Sunday night. That doesn't count. Last week he got 15, doesn't count. Jacksonville, he got 20, definitely didn't pay it off.
No.
Tennessee,
not paying it off.
Tennessee, that was not the main slate. San Francisco, main slate, didn't pay it off. Buffalo didn't pay it off. Vegas
did.
That was a night game, doesn't count.
You have to count them though. If they were played, like I'm saying, he's had like 3 games.
Like he wasn't usable on the main slate. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it count, but he wasn't like you couldn't put him in your lineup. So like, yes, he's a great play. Against, right. I mean, if you're playing Patrick Mahomes, you have to play Kelsey. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. And just hope that he has a 3 touchdown game.
Yeah, it's tough. That's why it's tough to play the Chiefs side of that game.
Yeah, and if you're stacking the 49ers Dolphins game, you got to look at George Kittle. I mean, he's 5,000. He can easily have a 30-point game. I think he's underpriced just because, I mean, he hasn't, put up huge games. I mean, Atlanta, he did pretty well. Kansas City, he did pretty well. So yeah, you just gotta. I like Kittle. He's definitely gonna be my player pool.
Yeah, Kittle, I think might be my favorite tight end. It's just from a price ceiling perspective, I just think he is the best play.
Mm-hmm.
He's always more likely to hit his ceiling when they're forced to keep up, and I think Miami's a game where they might have to be.
Yeah, game script will be good there. On the low, if you're trying to squeeze someone in at the bottom, like I was saying, Cole Kmet's definitely going to see more target share. You kind of got to hope that amounts to a touchdown with him.
Mhm.
And then another guy, Foster Moreau.
Love him.
Chargers are allowing the third most points to tight ends this year, I believe. And in a game that we've already covered, as we all agree or all think that is going to be a shootout. I think Foster Moreau at that price tag, 3,700 or 3,600, is a great cheap tight end this week.
Yeah, I love playing the volume game on tight ends, and I think he had 7 targets last week, which is great for a tight end. So
Yeah.
it's a good call.
Any interest in Hurst against the Chiefs?
I don't mind Hayden Hurst.
Hurst is tough. Sorry, go ahead, Corey. I keep cutting
Yeah,
you
no,
off.
like I think we're kind of like the same like page here. Like he's not the first. I mean, he's never the first look, and like I think Joe
He's a
Mixon comes
touchdown
back.
guy.
Yeah,
I
there's
know,
only
and Joe
one
Mixon's
ball.
yeah, Joe Mixon comes
Oh.
back this week. That hurts him on the goal line because he's not going to break a 40-yard touchdown. Like that's just not his his mantra. So like I don't know.
He's tough.
Maybe-
You're. I mean, he's like Komet, right? You're kind of just like, all right, I'm banking on a touchdown and maybe 2 in like a
Yeah.
goal line situation.
I
Yeah.
prefer him when I'm playing Joe Burrow because like if he's needing to hit his ceiling with touchdowns, that means Burrow's racking them up too. So like that's when I like playing Hurst is when I'm playing Burrow.
Yeah. I don't
Probably
really.
script.
I
though.
have 2 more.
You have 2 more.
Everett, like if we're talking about Herbert, like I have to put Everett.
He's been so shaky this year, but I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, the Herbert just in the same way that we're talking about like Burrow and Mahomes, like Herbert spreads the ball out no matter who's playing, or who's healthy receivers wise. And Everett's definitely a stud, like no doubt about it, but he just hasn't seemed to really produce a whole lot this year. I don't know. Like outside of week 3, 1 game over 10 points.
Yeah, I only like playing him if I'm playing Herbert.
Yeah.
I guess I think maybe the last one I'd maybe touch on would be Conklin, 3,100 going against Minnesota. Minnesota's not the greatest against tight ends.
Yeah.
And if Mike White has a decent enough, I mean, even against the Bears last week, he went 3 for 3, 50 yards. And if he gets in, I mean, at that price tag, he's paying it off right there. So I don't hate it, but I think I don't know. I feel like I want to pay up at tight end this week.
Do we the one guy that we didn't shout out towards the top that I have some questions on is Hawkinson. Obviously the Jets corners
Right.
are studs. So you get some more opportunity maybe with like Sauce and Reader locking guys down. Like maybe Hawkinson's get some more looks. He's obviously getting more and more worked into that offense. Like Nick was saying, the volume game with tight ends is generally huge. Since when he joined the Vikings, was that week 10?
Against Buffalo.
Yeah, so 10 targets, 9 targets, 6 targets. Hasn't put up like a huge number, nothing above 15 really, but potentially a play there and probably a place to get different too. Like I don't think a lot of people are going to be on a Hawkinson against the Jets.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a tough week to play Hawkinson. He's like you're paying more for just like consistency opposed to a ceiling. So I guess depending on what game format you're playing, like he might be a better play in a double up opposed to a tournament. Like I'm just not seeing the upside there quite yet. I
High
think
floor,
just
low
with
ceiling.
Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook as red zone threats, like even 30 yards out, like I don't know. I thought he was going to come in and do amazing things, but we haven't seen it yet. So
I mean, he's been pretty solid there.
He's been very
that's
solid.
what I mean. Like he's good, consistent, like 10 to 15 points. Like you could count on that. But I don't know, like if he's putting up a 30 bagger.
I mean, he has it, and I mean, with the targets he's receiving, he definitely has that ability. But again, you're right. He's losing red zone targets and opportunities to Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, and but I do like the play. One more, and then we can maybe move on to building a lineup, and unless you guys have something else. Firemouth at 4,300 against Atlanta. His target share has gone up since Claypool has left. He's essentially the third receiver there. It's not like, I don't even know who the third guys are in Pittsburgh for like the receiving core. Like it's Deontay Johnson, Pickens, and then it's like undrafted
Steve
rookies.
Sims and Gunner.
Yeah, it's like I think Firemouth, he takes up a huge portion of that target share. So I like Firemouth at his spot for 4,300 as well.
My last guy was Evan Ingram because Lawrence is my favorite quarterback. I have to play some Ingram against the dusty Lions defense.
Oh, we just lost Nick.
Lost Nick, yeah.
Oh, no.
Unfortunate.
I just realized Ingram had only a target against the Ravens, but
No, Evan Ingram, man, that was another guy where it was like, oh, getting getting Lawrence with a competent coach. Not a
it's all right. He hasn't been like incredible, but he's been all right.
Yeah. I mean, not a ton of receiving threats other than Kirk out there. Obviously Marvin Jones, but less so, I
Zay
think.
Jones crushed last week. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he did.
Like 14 targets or something, just nutty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's not doing that again.
Ingram, I definitely have some interest in because that's my favorite game. So
yeah. All right.
Is there a way to get Nick back in here or no?
I don't know.
It just depends on his computer.
Oh, I didn't know if like he gets to rejoin or
Yeah.
okay.
No, he's gone. Gone forever.
Sacrificed to get our $1 million. So now we only have to split it 3 ways.
Yep.
Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, bud. All right.
What game you guys want to go to?
Oh man.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough.
I say my vote is obviously going to be the Detroit Jacksonville game. If you guys disagree, obviously I still like that Chargers Vegas and the Kansas City Cincinnati.
I think it'd be. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so if you're targeting that game, PB, you're then for sure getting a piece of those other 2 that you named.
I'm gonna try to, yeah.
I mean, I think I like taking the better quarterback, and I think that's in the Kansas City Chiefs, Bengals game.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I just think Burrow is probably the better side.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I'd play Burrow and then
Okay.
just do what we talked about earlier, just grabbing the other pieces like you're playing, if you have Mahomes.
I'm doing Kelsey, right?
We should probably double stack Burrow, right?
You want to go?
It'd be like T and Boyd, or like Boyd and Hurst, or probably T and like Hurst would be my.
I'd rather go T and Boyd.
I just think it's, yeah. We could do that.
Or
said sometimes it's hard giving on slates like these when you need so much upside. 2 receiver positions going to, like on slates like these, I prefer getting your double stack through a tight end because I feel like your receivers are gonna have to go absolutely nuts this week.
Okay, we can move off Boyd and go to man, now that we're doing it, like thinking maybe we do go the Jacksonville side. I hate it. I hate Trevor Lawrence, but
He's back.
Oh, Nick's back. All right, Nick, which game do you want to stack? We're trying.
Now we have to split it 4 ways. Damn.
Yeah. We were gonna take the $1 million for us 3.
It's not fair.
Nick, which game would you go to? We
Well, if you're doing the Burrow stack,
no, we're on.
You're talking about potentially clearing
switching.
that.
yeah.
I mean, I love a lot of the expensive players this week, so I've been opting for cheaper quarterbacks. I don't mind Jared Goff or
All right. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. I think that game is going to be like.
I think Lawrence is the Detroit defense. I mean,
All right.
Let's see it. Let's try and build one and see what it comes out.
Kirk.
Yeah.
We don't. Trevor Lawrence is one you don't have to double stack because he has rushed for a few touchdowns in some games. Like, so it's not like a hard requirement that you should double stack. But
Nick's gone again.
well, maybe his contribution was just getting us on the right game.
There we go.
Yeah.
So then, do you like Ingram too, or you don't think you are?
You
gonna
don't.
stack
I mean,
it?
I like him. I like him, but I don't think we have to get Ingram,
Okay.
I like Ingram better if ETN's out.
which he's probably going to be in. So
Is that for sure?
Well,
yeah, he's probably going to be in. Like, most.
you know the best run back is Amon-Ra, so you can plug him in.
Yeah, I mean he's.
you saw
we're
last week.
We're chalky already though with these two receivers that are probably going to both be like 20% owned. So I think we should either do a different, like a Marvin Jones Ingram, or we do like DJ Chark or like Swift, because Swift I think was a full go this week finally.
Yeah, but he's just got,
$5,600 too.
They
He's
don't
super
give
cheap.
him. They don't give him the ball, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's because he
Jamal
hasn't
Williams.
done a full go, right? Like,
I mean, I think he was a full go against Buffalo.
He was
I think they're
there.
just running with the guy who's doing good.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's.
I don't know.
That's
Right now, I
Seth
just think our
Green.
lineup's too chalky, but that's just my opinion. If you guys like Amon-Ra and Kirk, we can run with it. But right now, I think we have two receivers that are at like 20% owned.
I feel like we overthink it sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to think of it in some sort of strategical.
Totally.
All right. Put Nick Chubb in there. We're playing Nick Chubb. He was like,
Love that.
and another chalky piece.
I don't think Chubb will be super chalky.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't think any running back really will be super chalky. But
I mean, I don't mind playing Swift at 5,600 and getting off of St. Brown.
I do
But if
think
that game explodes, they're going to be throwing a lot. So
I mean,
like,
Swift,
I don't
Swift
love,
is pass catcher though.
like if
like-
Trevor Lawrence hits his ceiling, then like the Lions aren't going to be relying on DeAndre Swift
No, he's the
They're gonna
pass
be-
catcher.
why wouldn't they rely on him?
because they're going to be throwing more to Amon-Ra. I don't know. Jamal Williams has just been playing way too much for me to like.
Yeah,
Like we're choosing an RB2 with like,
yeah, I get that on
injury.
the slate, which is tough.
Yeah.
yeah. There's so many better options.
Then would you want to? I mean, we could. Yeah, all right. We can try to run with what we got.
like I like Pacheco more than Swift for 100 more.
Yeah, and we could also get our Chiefs, like, since probably fading Kelsey and the Chiefs, like we could say the Chiefs are scoring a bunch on the ground here and play Pacheco.
I like Pacheco. I played him last
Yeah.
week and he had the opportunities and there's
He
no one
looked
else
really
really there.
good.
Yeah, he has the opportunity.
He
I know
runs.
Andy Reid loves
Dude.
that anytime he gets like hit real hard, he'll just pop up and sprint back into the huddle. Like that's such an Andy Reid type of football player.
He runs so angry, dude. Like
Yeah.
he runs like he
He's
is
very
beating the
good.
shit out of the ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
never
really fun to
seen-
watch.
Never seen someone run as hard as him.
Yeah.
We
Since-
could get a Cincinnati piece and you have a mini stack from that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Boyd,
We're gonna have to get super cheap
Boyd or
with
Boyd or
flex.
Hurst.
I like
I-
Hurst better personally with
Yeah.
More than
Chase
Boyd.
coming back, even if he
Okay.
is in the pitch count.
Yeah. Then we have our a correlation in that game as well. Hurst on the Bengals side scoring the touchdowns. Pacheco.
Defense.
Yeah, defense is even tough this week when I was going through it. I like
I like Seattle.
the Giants were one of my favorites, but
Washington. Yeah, I think that game goes under for sure.
I like the Giants. It's Taylor Heineke. It's not like
Right.
and they're at home.
the Commanders
Division
defense is
game.
more. Yeah, I like Giants.
Let's try that.
Okay. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. 5,300 left, and people are just gonna click on Garrett Wilson
Garrett
just
Wilson.
automatically.
Dude, Garrett Wilson's gonna be Corey Davis. Corey Davis.
What about
No.
Claypool? And then we get a big receiver.
I just don't want to go Claypool. I don't know about the upside.
I mean, if
That's
he's the
fair.
only one there catching balls, and Justin Fields has looked pretty good throwing the ball as of late. And it's not like the Packers have been stout on defense, but they are playing the Bears, and somehow they always seem to be like superstars against the Bears.
Do we think
Um,
Christian Watson keeps his
no,
touchdown streak going?
Uh,
I'm off Watson.
I think people are going to chase that.
That is
Yeah.
insane right there.
And if Doobies is coming back, and then I don't like him as much.
Do you want to play Jalen Warren in this lineup?
Oh, I mean, not really. I'd rather play receiver to get. I mean, I think it's too cheap at running back.
What?
What
He's
is
Like I'm
it?
looking
saying,
at
we're-
the flex.
7.
No, I know, but yeah, then it's
I do that. I hate that.
We got to pick a receiver now.
If we went Warren in the flex, yeah.
you
we
get to
have-
Palmer at 5,600.
You could put Juju in.
You could play
Juju already has
Juju.
Pacheco.
Yeah.
You could play Sutton.
If we moved Warren up for Pacheco and then Juju in at receiver, we'd have a
Yeah.
decent amount of money in the flex.
Yeah, it just depends if you guys would rather go Juju in his game back or just try
He
to
played last
get-
week.
get all the touchdowns with Pacheco. It does either one. I like Juju and Pacheco a lot, so I don't care. what
I'd rather say Pacheco. I think he's the number one back there. If we think there's gonna be a lot of points, there's a very good opportunity that
he gets some touches
Yeah,
there.
I think
it's-
Cincinnati's also a great run defense. Very underrated run defense.
They're good. They're not like fantastic. It's just
They're not.
more of the opportunity. Like the Chiefs get in the red zone, and then if it's not going to Kelsey, like Pacheco could easily vulture a bunch of. We saw it with CEH at that certain time. Like it just happens. But okay, so I mean we don't. So yeah, Warren, and then yeah we have 5,700. We could go Sutton, Palmer. Those are the only two at that price point, I think.
I refuse to play.
I'm not going to play any
Bronco.
Ravens running backs this week. I've been targeting them in the
If we
past, but
if we don't want like if you and Nick don't like Sutton or Palmer, then we'd probably have to come off of Warren.
I don't
That's-
mind. I don't mind Palmer. I refuse
What-
to play a Denver Bronco.
What does Corey Davis at wide receiver allow us to get in the flex? Like if we play him in the last receiver spot,
65.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
okay. I don't mind that.
yeah. See, here's my thing with that, PB. Like, who do you think has more upside, Corey Davis or Chase Claypool?
Corey Davis.
What?
Or
I
okay,
think
okay,
it's, like,
sorry. I think
virtually
they
the
both
same.
have. I think they both have the exact same upside, and I think Corey Davis has a much better matchup. So
Davis does have the better matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
and
right,
it's
I don't mind
direct
it.
leverage off of Garrett Wilson, who will be the most popular play on the slate, most likely.
Yeah, which I wasn't very a huge fan of Warren. I was just kind of mentioning him as sprinkling in there. But I
I actually do like Warren. I mean, he's going to be the main Steelers back, but against the
Have a
Falcons.
piece in this game. So the only game we don't have a piece in that we touched on briefly, and it was iffy, is Dolphins Niners.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is
which
We're
fine.
all in agreement there.
I
so
think that's how you play. You like fade it or you play like
Yeah.
that's a perfect game to.
Looks like there might be some weather there too.
Yeah,
Watch out for that storm cloud.
I like this. I like this. This is a
hate
good
this.
tournament lineup. I think.
Perfect.
All right.
Looks good to me.
All righty.
Don't
Maybe
copy
that'll be
this.
the one.
Yeah, don't copy.
All million of our viewers do not copy this.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week, week 14, almost into the season.
Don't say that.